All right, we're live. We're live. All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan, and I am very happy and excited, not just because I'm speaking with my very good old friend after a very long time, but also under the circumstances that we've got at the moment. And Israel, as you guys know, has attacked Iran, and this time it doesn't look like a tit for tat attack like the ones that we saw back in October or a couple of months before that. This time it looks pretty serious. Everyone's saying that Israel's intentions are to overthrow the regime. I don't want to get my hopes up because I did get my hopes up before, and that didn't happen. So that's why, who better to ask than our favorite Iranian, Armin Navabi, who also happens to be an ex-Muslim. And by the way, he has a wonderful channel, Atheist Republic. He's the founder of the Atheist Republic. I don't know if he's still on Facebook or not. I think you guys got it back. But anyway, that's his YouTube channel. Covers a lot of interesting topics. Obviously, yeah, not just Iran specific, but he covers
Mostly the live
a lot of
sections.
topics.
We mostly go live instead of edited video. That's where we are. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where most of our
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's where most of this stuff is. So do check it out. Subscribe to Armin Navabi. I'm sure you're going to love it. Armin, first of all, how you doing? And tell me a little bit about this. Is this serious? Because what we heard, as an outsider, what I
Right.
heard, it looked like that Trump wanted to make a deal with Iran, which was no nuclear weapons. But it seems like Iran said, sorry, we're not going to do it. And then Netanyahu, as the rumor goes, he was not interested in any talks. He just wanted to eliminate the Islamic regime. So just briefly tell us, give us a bit of context how we actually got to this stage and what exactly are the intentions of Netanyahu.
I don't know how much you know, because do you understand that the main heads of IRGC are all gone?
I heard something like that. 5, 6, 10 people are gone, and yeah.
Well, 20, the last number I heard, but the names that they're dropping, this is the Islamic Republic. I don't know if your audience understands that, because most people, when they think of the Islamic Republic, they think of Khamenei, right?
Yes.
But but when I think of Islamic Republic, I think of IRGC more. I think of Khamenei second. I think of IRGC first. And then all the top leaders of IRGC are gone. This, I am lost for words. I don't know how to describe to people what we're witnessing here. This is basically the heads of Islamic Republic are gone. The armed forces that basically controls the country is not Khamenei, it's IRGC, Hajizadeh Bagheri, and one of the most and even when it comes to the supreme leader, the main advisor of Khamenei, which basically is the main guy behind everything Khamenei does, he has been hit as well. Sham Khani, his name, and he's basically the guy that controls all the economic policy, all the bypassing the sanctions. Everything Khamenei does is based on his analysis. And he has been hit. Last time I've heard, he is in critical conditions. A lot of people are saying he's dead as well, but I haven't seen an official mainstream news outlet confirming it. But it's either over or it's very close to it. I don't want to get your hopes up, because right now, I'm going to say something that a lot of your audience might not like, and even my audience might not like. The only one that could now save the Islamic Republic is Trump, and he might do it because he wants a deal so badly. So the way that we got here is that a month ago, back in May, Netanyahu wanted to do this attack earlier, and a lot of people in Israel, including the opposition, including his allied parties and the opposition, were criticizing Netanyahu for why they're not doing this. And the reason why they weren't doing this earlier was because of Trump. Trump was basically holding Netanyahu back because he really wanted a deal. And Trump, unfortunately, was under this impression that he could get a deal out of the Islamic Republic. And everybody was telling Trump that these people cannot be negotiated with. And Trump did not understand that. And that's why Netanyahu and Trump were basically kind of drifting apart in the past couple of months. They were basically not seeing eye to eye on this. And Trump is
On that
under
note,
pressure.
On that note, can I just, because this post by Donald Trump is a pretty long post, it got me worried as well. It says, I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told. So he kept warning. We knew that this is going to come, that the United States makes the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world by far, and that Israel has a lot of it, with much more to come. And they know how to use it. Certain Iranian hardliners, I'm assuming, obviously the IRGC and some hardliners, spoke bravely, but they didn't know what was about to happen. They're all dead now, and it will only get worse. There has already been great death and destruction. See, that's where I thought, maybe Trump has some other ideas, which obviously you and I don't want, but there is still time to make this slaughter with the next already planned attacks being even more brutal come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. Like, what is he talking about? What do you mean Iranian? This has got nothing to do with the Iranian Empire of the past. No more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it's too late. So that got me worried. That is Trump gonna give an off ramp to Iran?
So this is the difference between Netanyahu and Trump. Netanyahu sees a great Iran only possible with the fall of the Islamic Republic. But Trump sees a great Iran even under the Islamic Republic, as long as they bend the knee to Trump. As long as they do a deal and bend the knee, he still sees a potential great Iran under the same regime. And so Trump finally came to the conclusion recently that, okay, these people are not playing well. Like, Trump has been delusional in the same way that he has been delusional about Putin, him being able to end the war with Putin, Ukraine and Russia, and then now realizing that it's actually more complicated and Putin doesn't want peace. And now he's slowly, slower than most people, is realizing that it's the same thing that we saw with Putin. It's the same thing with Islamic Republic. These people are not made for appeasement or negotiation. These Putin and Islamic Republic and Hamas and Hezbollah and all these people, they only understand one language, and that's the language of force. So finally, when he saw that the nuclear talks were not getting anywhere and these people were just buying time, he finally allowed Netanyahu to do his thing. And I don't know if you've seen, this was masterful. This was glorious, this attack. Like the pager attacks, all of that is nothing compared to what just happened. They just went in and they knew exactly where all of these people were sleeping. They went in with the first wave. They beheaded the Islamic Republic in the first wave, and they treated Iran's airspace like it's their own backyard. Like, there is no air defense. Like, the Iranian regime, I shouldn't call it the Iranian regime. The regime in Iran has they have no capability of stopping anything. By the way, they're spreading a lot of propaganda in Iran. Official government news outlets in Iran are saying, one, they took out 2 F-35s, which is delusional. And they're saying this is the first time in history that anybody has taken down an F-35.
And they captured a female Israeli pilot as well, apparently. Yeah.
And that's bullshit as well. But the thing is that they know that we won't believe it. But what matters, let me tell you what's the two scenarios that we're looking at right now. Okay, because Israel has signaled right now, Netanyahu, that they're going for the kill. They're going in to basically end the regime threat from Iran, from inside Iran. And Trump is claiming that the regime officials already are talking to him right now, and they basically want to do the deal. Like, they're basically saying that, okay, fine. Like, they're basically bending the knee. Okay, basically Trump is going to think,
basically
okay,
swallow it. They basically want to swallow it.
Yes. And Trump might really like that. Trump is like, look, because MAGA hates Trump getting involved in a war. So Trump is going to feel like this was a genius move. I was basically holding Netanyahu back. You didn't give me what I want. I let him do his thing. And now that you're back on the table and now follow and bending the knee and going to sign whatever I put in front of you, I'm going to hold him back again. If Trump does that, because Trump really likes, this would be a beautiful sell for Trump to his base. The base, Trump's base is going to be like, look, he managed to get what he wanted without getting U.S. military involved. So they're going. This is very sellable to Trump's base. And if the regime in Iran manages to fool Trump into accepting a deal with them, because so the regime is going to do two things. First of all, behind the scenes, they're going to tell Trump that, you know what, sorry, whatever you say. And in public, to their own base, they're going to be, no, we're not negotiating with them, or they're begging us to come back to the table, right? I mean, obviously, we're not going to believe the Iranian regime, but they have to tell that to their base. So scenario one, Netanyahu goes all the way, and basically we see the Iranian regime fall within the next couple of weeks. Scenario two, Trump basically stops the attacks, goes back to the negotiating table. The Iranian regime bends the knee because they realize that they're completely incapable. The Israeli regime, the Israeli government also is noticing how easy this is. They're really they after the first wave of attacks, they came out and said that, you know, we're going for the kill. They didn't initially say that. I think they noticed that this was easier than they even thought. There's nothing stopping them at all, and the waves of attack are continuing as we speak. And also, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, Israel had commandos in Iran, sleeping cell, like they're ready, and they also had a drone base already ready inside Iran. And when the regime in Iran, when they were going to retaliate and respond with missiles, some of the drones basically targeted some of the drone base that they already had. This is some 007 Hollywood shit. Like that. This is unbelievable. They had them
This is
ready
worse than
there
a pager
inside.
attack. This is worse than a
This
pager
is
attack.
this is more impressive than anything. So if I had to rank them, this is number one. Second one was the Ukrainian attack.
Drones, yeah.
The drones, and the third, now the pager attack gets number three. So compared to these attacks, yeah, this is so impressive. This is so impressive. Like this is going to be talked about for ages.
So what's the third scenario?
Oh, okay. No, let me actually let me tell you the second scenario is also the third scenario, because the second scenario is that we're going to have a deal. The attacks will stop, but we're going to have the people rise up in Iran, and also because there are. You remember, most of the decision makers are gone. Most of the people that give the commands to that manage everything and command all the forces within Iran to oppress the people. This is basically a chicken with its head loose. Maybe so. More than the Iranian people rising up, actually, a more important factor is that there's going to be a lot of defection from the regime itself, because remember, the regime has now shown that they are incapable of protecting their highest assets. Their highest assets. So So imagine the next commanders that they put in place. They understand that every single breath that is coming out of their mouth is because Netanyahu is letting them live. Khamenei is alive right now because of Netanyahu allowing him to live. Every single IRGC commander or supreme leader official, the House of the Supreme Leader official now knows that their God is not Bibi, is their God. So they
a Jew.
They have to, he's closer to them than their jugular vein, to quote a Quranic verse. So there's going to be a lot of internal fighting between the people in the regime that are, as they call it, life lovers and the death lovers. Okay, because a lot of them, basically meaning the people who are actually genuinely ideological and are doing it to become martyrs and die for the Mahdi, versus the people that are actually interested in power and survival. And there's plenty of both of them in the regime. So the ones who actually prefer to live, they are going to there's going to be a lot of infighting within the regime. And even if this if Trump stops this from continuing, I could see the internal division within the regime to become so high that that by itself is going to topple the regime at some point. Does that make sense?
It does. Obviously, this is a developing story, and every day we're going to get more information, and I'll keep you up to date, and we'll keep this short. But Armin, there's one question that is on everyone's mind: that if the regime is toppled, then what's going to happen after that? Because Israel is always very good in initiating its attack, and they're always very well planned, very well executed. Like you just said, in this case, like they took out the top leadership within the first couple of hours, and how they've infiltrated their assets in such a closed society like Iran, and they've still managed to achieve the results that they have. But what could be the next outcome? Because obviously, considering our past experiences in the Middle East, you know what happens, that you get rid of Saddam, something worse comes out. So what do you think? What's going to happen after that?
The chances of that happening can be very, very low with Iran if we manage to all get behind Reza Pahlavi, Prince Reza Pahlavi, okay? Because that would be just a continuation of what we had before the Islamic Republic. There's already institutions that will continue under his leadership. There's already a united group with an economic plan, an education plan, a military plan, basically everything when it comes to uh, every single institution that a country needs. They already have come up, the Pahlavi team, the Reza Pahlavi team, they've already come up with a detailed plan on how to manage everything, and managing the transition, to set up a referendum, to then have elections for a parliament, and then the type of government. Everything is already in place. Reza Pahlavi is the main leader that most Iranian people support and follow, and he's secular, he's liberal, he's pro-Israel. He's also won a friendly relationship with the Arab countries, or, around the Persian Gulf and everywhere else. He's very diplomatic, and it's basically there's not going to be a power vacuum, because the Iranian people are already supporting Reza Pahlavi more than anyone else by a huge margin.
But
What
are
we
there any
need
other
is
But are there any other militant organizations that may not accept his rule or provisional rule?
so the IRGC is so there's two military bodies basically in Iran right now. One of them is the IRGC, the other one is Artesh. So what we have to worry about is the IRGC. The good thing about the Artesh, if the leaders of Artesh are removed, the body of Artesh, that's the military body that was created back during the Pahlavi time. And there are many people within the body of the Artesh that want to go back under the Pahlavi umbrella. So what we have to do is basically remove IRGC, and the Artesh is already a military body that we could basically get behind to get it under Reza Pahlavi's command and his team.
Okay. Last question before I let you go. This question has been, I don't know, for some reason it's causing a lot of confusion. Obviously, Marco Rubio came out and he said that we had no hand in this. I don't know, take it as a grain of salt or whatnot. So is that even an important question right now, or is just someone playing politics? Because obviously Iran had said that if Israel attacks Iran, then we will try to take out American interests in the Middle East, which would obviously which would force the US to get involved in this war directly. So some news outlets are claiming that Trump was dumbfounded by this and Israel did it behind his back.
Oh.
Could Israel have done this without Trump's approval?
No, not at all. In fact, Trump, before the attacks happened, Trump came out and said that an attack is about to happen. And now he's basically taking credit. It's Marco Rubio's statement is wise. We want because the MAGA, basically Trump is under the pressure of of the MAGA crowd. We want the MAGA crowd not to turn too much against this, because if they do, then Trump will turn against it. So it's better to go with the narrative that the United States had nothing to do with this, but also keep Trump happy by saying that these were American weapons anyways, right? So we need to basically say it was America and it wasn't America at the same time. We need to say it wasn't America, so that Trump could basically sell this to his base that, hey, I didn't get us into a war. But also we need to give Trump the credit of, America is still superior, by pointing out that this was all American weaponry anyways. So that's the way to play the politics on this, so that we don't lose US support on these attacks.
Okay, and lastly, obviously the pro-Palestinian crowd mob is saying that, look at this, Israel has initiated another war, and the MAGA element in that too. But I'm seeing a lot of Iranian dissidents and activists online who are actually celebrating that. Is it fair
Oh
to
my
say
God.
that?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that a big chunk of Iranians, not only outside of Iran but also within Iran, are celebrating this because they're so sick and tired of the Islamic regime?
Yep. I don't even know how to start. Like, the Iranian people are, they're
Over the
so
moon.
excited. Oh yes, they are. Like, when as soon as this happened, I'm traveling right now, so that's why I'm talking to you from my hotel. But I picked up my phone and I went live on the Persian channel, and people were congratulating each other. They were asking each other, like, "Is it going to fall? Or is it going to fall?" I was actually somewhat worried about their safety, and some people in the chat were upset with me that why am I not more excited? Like, they were like, I was like, guys, I'm just worried about you guys, because I know they're obviously there's going to be collateral damage, and I was worried about some innocent people dying, which happens. It's inevitable that will happen. And people were criticizing me that, hey, you shouldn't be saying that. You're spreading government propaganda by focusing on that. This is the moment to be happy. But I'm like, guys, I'm happy that I want maximum damage to IRGC and minimum damage to the Iranian people. So obviously, I'm going to be concerned about that as well. But so far, this has been, people have been thanking BB. People have been. We were talking about, like, people were talking about in the chat about starting a hashtag saying thank you BB. Um, no, but a lot of people in Iran are seeing more and more, seeing Netanyahu as their savior, because, I mean, to be honest, they're saying like nothing else could do what Israel is doing. I mean, I don't. To be honest, like, Iranian people, I mean, they're very brave and they're fighting a lot for toppling the regime, but they're not armed. And even if there's millions of them in the streets, we will never be able to see, like, all of a sudden 20 of the top commanders of IRGC in just a couple of hours is just eliminated. Like, nothing. The Iranian people. Trump cannot do this, because Trump, even if it has the military capability, it doesn't have the political capability. It doesn't have the political capital to be able to pull off something like this. There's nobody else. Even within Israel, there are, yeah. So it's basically just Netanyahu. So the Iranian people, I mean, Reza Pahlavi doesn't have the arms. Um, America doesn't have the willingness to do that. The Iranian people are not armed. So the only one left is basically Netanyahu. But by the way, guys, Reza Pahlavi is still. I'm just talking about ability when it comes to military ability. But when it comes to what comes after, our only hope is Reza Pahlavi. So I need your audience to follow, to understand, to go and figure out who Reza Pahlavi is, and follow him on his social media, and if follow his posts, okay? Because that's the official. If you want to see what the Iranian people consider their representative and what he's saying, it's important for everybody to know who Reza Pahlavi is, Prince Reza Pahlavi, and also follow his posts, because those are just one thing I want to make sure you guys understand. Reza Pahlavi should not and cannot support foreign attack on Iranian soil, okay? Because of his position, okay? So just take that from, like, I'm more free to say something like that, but as somebody who's a representative of the Iranian people, he's not going to condemn. He's not going to condemn Israel. He's a supporter of Israel, but if you follow his posts, he's going to constantly keep focusing on strikes and the Iranian people rising up. And he does every time Israel attacks the Islamic Republic, he doesn't celebrate it, but he never condemns it. And because remember, he also has a lot of anti-regime followers and fans that don't want a foreign intervention. So he has to be mindful to those as well. But however, if he wants, whenever he points to a war happening, a war coming to Iran, he makes sure to put all the blame on the Islamic Republic. So even though he doesn't celebrate it, he doesn't condemn Israel, he condemns the Islamic Republic for everything. So just keep that in mind. Oh, Roy is here.
Excellent. Okay, I just want to end this video with this video that Mona, she's an Iranian activist, she played, and just have a listen to this, and that would give you an answer.
Hi, Iranian here. So I just saw a video of Israeli fighter jets on top of the skies in Tehran, close to where the supreme dictator's house is, and you can hear like fires and missiles and whatever. I want you to take a moment and listen to the voice of the Iranian man who is filming the video.
آسمون تهران میدون فردوسی ماشاءالله ماشاءالله بزن حرومزاده رو بزن.
Did you hear that?
So I don't know. Some people, you're Iranian. Some people are saying that he's celebrating the air defense system, but I don't know if there is any air defense system. So he's actually celebrating.
No. He said hit these harumzadeha. You don't call a missile harumzade. You call the people harumzade. Okay, so no, he was not talking about the missiles. He was talking about the officials. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Armin. We will invite you again to keep us updated with what's happening in this war. This is Armin Navabi's X account. Please follow him. And obviously, as I said, he has a YouTube channel as well where he
focus on the YouTube channel. Yeah, focus. I'm gonna go live there soon, actually. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Yeah.
All right, folks. That's it. That's an update video. Until next time. Ta-da.